This is a brief PowerPoint covering safety signs that you might find in the workplace. So what do the regulations require? The regulations require employers to ensure that safety signs are provided or are in place and maintained in circumstances where there is a significant risk to health and safety that has not been removed or controlled by other methods. There are some types of information that you just cannot cover through just basic risk assessment or training. So for example, telling people where a fire door is okay, but they may not remember it in the heat of the moment. So a sign is an important additional piece of safety equipment to help indicate how somebody might exit a building, for example. I'll move. There are 4 types of signs you're likely to come across, and then there are a few others that you will come across, but not as prominently. The prohibition sign, the warning signs, the mandatory signs, and the emergency sort of first aid escape signs. I'll go through each of those with you. So the prohibition signs is a sign prohibiting behaviour likely to increase or cause danger. And you'll see these, for example, no access to unauthorised areas, no smoking. And here are a couple of examples. So you'll certainly come across the no smoking sign. The warning signs are yellow triangles with black borders, and they give a warning of a hazard or danger. Here are some examples: toxic material, general danger, electricity. You need to go around your workplace and look out for some of these signs and see if you can identify them. The electricity one you're likely to find wherever there's any switching gear, and quite often in horticulture we have storerooms where we keep our stuff, and usually in the basement of a building, so you may see those signs warning you of a danger of electrocution. The mandatory signs are probably the ones that you're going to come across the most because they indicate what you need to wear, for example, when using equipment. So a mandatory sign is a sign prescribing specific behaviour, i.e. eye protection must be worn. Here are some examples of those. And you'll see these on the shafts of your strimmers, sometimes on your mowers, on the blowers. And if they're not there because they're worn away, you need to have a look at the manual. So that will tell you what you need to wear prior to using or during the use of this machine or that particular machine. And if you're still unsure, then you can go online or ask your supervisor or managers to provide you with that information. Emergency escape or first aid are green. These are signs giving information on emergency exits, first aid or rescue facilities. For example, emergency exit escape routes. Sometimes there's an arrow indicating the direction of travel. And it's really important that these signs are put the right way around so that people can exit the building. Quite often the signs are fluorescent, so if the lighting goes out, you can still find your way out of the building. Here's some more examples of those types of signs. And here's an example of the types of facilities you might see in the workplace, such as first aid, eye wash, those sorts of things. It's important to know where your first aid is located. For most people working in horticulture, the first aid facilities are in the van, in a first aid box, and it's important that that is kept well stocked and that you know where it is. Also, be aware of any allergies that you may have to plasters and things like that, and make sure that information is conveyed to your first aider so they can take the appropriate action. Any major accidents need to be reported under RIDDOR, the reporting of injuries, dangerous diseases, occurrences, regulations. But in general, if it's just a scratch or something, then you can pop a plaster on, no problem. If you're in a building, you will see these signs, the firefighting signs. In general, they would be near for example, a fire extinguisher or a fire hose to indicate where those facilities are in case you need to use them to fight a fire. You need to be aware of the company policy for fighting fires, and in most examples, if a building's on fire and you're in it, your best bet is to get out. Generally speaking, it's not the flames that get you anyway, it's the smoke. So you may be able to fight the flames, but the smoke may overcome you, and it doesn't take long. So in most circumstances, it's best just to leave the building and go to your assembly point, which you should know about. And then these other signs are really important. These are warning signs that you might find on chemicals, the chemical labelling and packaging. So you need to keep an eye out for those. Explosives, corrosive, flammable, acute toxicity. And then if, for example, you dig a hole and you want to put some signs up, you can also use tape or signs for marking obstacles and dangerous locations. And these are the types of colours that you should use to do that. It's really important that if you do any work and you have to leave it unattended, that the signs are up to prevent people getting injured. Coupled with the risk assessments and the other parts of the health and safety module, that'll help to ensure that you're completely safe in the workplace as far as practicable, that you are not taking unnecessary risks. If you're uncertain about what procedures, what PPE to wear, then it's important that you talk to your supervisors and request further training in relation to health and safety. So let's just have a quick recap on these signs. The four main signs that we have looked at today. The prohibition sign is a sign prohibiting behaviour likely to increase or cause danger, e.g. no access for unauthorised persons. It's a red circle with a red line through it with a pictogram indicating what the prohibition sign is actually covering. A warning sign is a yellow triangle, warning of a hazard or danger such as electricity. A mandatory sign is a blue circle, and it's a sign prescribing specific behaviour. For example, eye protection must be worn. If you see a green sign, it's usually above a fire door or indicating some sort of first aid facility. So the signs giving information on emergency exits, first aid or rescue facilities. Sometimes they have an arrow showing you the way out. So that really concludes the PowerPoint today. And what you need to do now is continue answer the questions that relate to this video. If you're really unsure, then you'll need to watch it again until you can answer the questions. It's a 100% pass mark. So good luck and thank you for taking the time to watch the video today.